Dr. Shin and Roger, welcome to the Valder Beebe Show live in Dallas, Texas. Thank you both for being here.
Excited to be here.
I'm going to start with you, Dr. Shin, because March is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. Could you first define for us what is multiple sclerosis and tell us about the people who live with it, how it impacts their lives?
Sure. Well, multiple sclerosis, or MS for short, is an immune system condition where the immune system attacks the brain and spinal cord. And that creates all kinds of neurological symptoms: vision loss, weakness, numbness, dizziness, tingling. All of these things can occur in people living with MS. And sometimes the symptoms are invisible, meaning things like fatigue or memory issues aren't going to be really obvious to people on the outside. But there are different types of MS. Some people have relapses or attacks of MS, whereas others have gradual worsening, which we call progressive MS. And some people actually start out with that progression, and we call that primary progressive MS. So there are all different ways people can be affected by MS, and almost 1 million Americans are living with this condition.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a moment, but let me ask Roger a question. Roger, tell us if you can give us a capsulization of your interaction with MS.
Yeah, so like you said, I was diagnosed in 2022, and about a decade before that is when I had my first attack, and I lost vision in my right eye. So I went to the neurologist, got an MRI, and there was no signs of anything at that time. So I went with the next decade and kind of just ignored the symptoms or tried to deal with it, whether it was the leg pain or any brain fog that was happening. And then in 2021, I had another bout of vision loss in my other eye, and then that's what landed me at the practice that I'm at today with the diagnosis.
Well, I'm glad you're here to tell us about your story, so thank you for sharing. Dr. Shin, tell us, first of all, in our time that we're living on this planet, we now know people who are living with MS. I could tell you 2 people in my sphere. Tell us about the latest treatment and for managing this disease, because it's obviously there's been advancements.
Absolutely. So to your point, we used to say that everybody knows somebody living with MS because, again, it's more common than people realize. But when I was in medical training, so let's say we go back to the early 1990s, MS was not treatable. So if people had heard of MS, they often thought about, oh no, walkers and wheelchairs and disability. But over the past 25 to 30 years, we've made tremendous progress. There are now over 20 different MS treatment options. Roger and I are partnering with Genentech to talk more about the most recently approved treatment. So the FDA recently approved a medication called Ocrevus Zunovo. And it is related to another MS medicine called Ocrevus. We have a decade of experience with these medications and research behind them. But what makes Ocrevus Zunovo different from other MS treatment options is that it is a once every 6-month treatment, but it is a subcutaneous injection, and that just means it just goes under the skin, and each treatment is only 10 minutes long, as opposed to hours of infusion time with other treatment options. So we obviously still have to be concerned about potential side effects like an injection site reaction or potential infections, but we're excited to be able to bring this as an option for individuals to find something that's right for them. There's actually more information. Your audience may want to find out more about Ocrevus Zunovo, and they can go to ocrevus.com, a website, to find out more.
I want to thank you for sharing that, and I know anyone listening who has it or is dealing with someone has it, this is a light for them. Roger, I just want to go back to you since you're walking the walk with this. Since living with MS, how do you manage this disease?
Well, I think the important thing to note is that every person with MS, it's different for them. So in reality, you really need to talk to your healthcare provider and find a treatment plan that's right for you. So in my experience, we discussed a lot of different the drugs that Dr. Shin mentioned, and Ocrevus Zunovo stood out for me. Being a dad of 2 teenage boys and trying to live life, having a 10-minute injection for my medication was an extremely good selling point for me.
how exciting having the ability to participate in life on your terms. That's really good. Dr. Shin, I'm going to wrap up with you. Any major takeaways for my audience to remember and about the treatment for MS?
Well, I appreciate your giving us a chance to spread this awareness of this condition. The main takeaway lesson in my mind would be that MS is a treatable condition. If we can identify it correctly early on and get people on an effective therapy that fits with their lifestyle, that's a recipe for success.
And I want to remind my audience that Dr. Robert Shin is the Director of Multiple Sclerosis at the Clinic of Neurology, I'm going to skip that one, at UVA Health. And Roger is a hero living with MS. I want to thank you both for stopping by the Valder Beebe Show and enlightening us. I think you've helped more people than we will ever know. So thanks for being my guest on the Valder Beebe Show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Valder Beebe, host of the Valder Beebe Show. We have over 1,000 videos on ValderBeebeShow.com and YouTube.com/ValderBeebe Show. We upload new videos daily. Our site is a modern baby boomer platform with news and information important to boomers. Subscribe to YouTube.com/ValderBeebe Show and stay connected as I interview the world's most fascinating people.